Welcome back to Inside Prediction Markets. We have a great guest coming up, but first we're going to start with three things we noticed about prediction markets this week.
All right. Number one, aliens. Obama says they're real. Trump kind of confirms it. What do we think?
Well, it's up to 17% and it got steamed. I think this is ridiculous. Like, give me the no
on aliens being real?
Okay, well, two things. I do think aliens exist. The solar system and the universe is extremely large. It seems improbable there not be. Confirmed sightings that we've had them in the U.S., or not in the U.S., on planet Earth, almost 0%, in my opinion. Those are two very, very different questions. The one that's being proposed, prediction markets are, I think, have confirmed sightings, or we have them. That seems 0% to me.
Now, something we've seen a lot recently is derivative markets on these headline-grabbing novelty. Is that what's going on here? Is there a secondary market on whether or not the alien market will cross X percent?
Yes.
So people are trading the derivative and then bidding up the original market?
That might be possible. I didn't look too deep into it, but like I see 17% that aliens are confirmed in 2027, and I just think short.
Yeah. I know with the Jesus to return in 2026 market, that's really what's happening.
It's a derivative, yeah.
There's both derivative markets that people are trading on, and then somebody is also probably a poly market insider has loaded it up with liquidity incentives so you can make the wrong trade and still make money.
That's what's happening. You've been giving me a hard time with this. I have Warsh to be nominated as the next Fed chair for a big position, and I'm like, seeing my position value go down. But what's happening is there's a derivative market on Judy Shelton getting like above 5%, and they're manipulating that. So I'm actually not sweating. It just like allows me to buy more.
The guy's sweating. Okay. Number two thing we noticed this week, snow markets. Beautiful snowstorm in New York. Everybody was out having a great time. I got maybe 20 inches at my house. It seemed like it was crazy. The markets for snowfall in New York went off. I mean, we saw 8-figure volume on the really impressive, and a market that has real meaningful market purpose.
I was so happy to see in the Slack, I forget who said it, in the Novik Slack, but someone was like, I've been checking the market to see how much snow we're getting. It's like, this is what prediction markets are supposed to be used for. I don't want to listen to the weatherman. I want to listen to people betting and trading real money with their real opinions. Like that is the beauty of prediction markets, is now I get some real value. I didn't have to risk anything, and I get great information that's very valuable. The same will be seen in obviously any presidential or any election market at all.
Some of the PMs have gotten grief for saying we count anybody who visits the site as a customer, because people who read it like the news are customers. But I think it's a good example, right? Like, they're not selling advertising, but in a sense they're advertising their own trading product. Like, how many times are you going to check snowfall before you say, I'm going to make a deposit?
The problem is, when they also add these stupid derivative markets, and now it's like, Jesus to return is 5%. Is it the market or not really?
Yeah, that's an offshore poly market thing. They got to get that straightened out.
Yeah. Last thing I noticed was Christie coming very hard against prediction markets. I sat and actually watched the entire interview. It was about 10 minutes long. It's hilarious. My favorite part of the entire interview was one of the hosts, I can't remember the host's name, saying, to confirm on record, you are paid by the AGA, right? And you represent them. And Christie cannot lie, has to say yes. Oh, but I have my own opinion too.
On opening day in baseball season this year, Yankee fans are going to be able to go on Kalshi and Poly Market and bet the over-under on how many strikeouts the opening day pitcher off. That's a derivative? You're a business network. That's a derivative? It's not. It's a sports bet. And that's fine if they want to be in that business. And by the way, it's 90% of their revenue is sports betting, 90%. So please, spare me. What they're trying to do is avoid regulation and avoid being taxed at the state level. Guess what? DraftKings would like to do that. FanDuel would like to do that. BetMGM would like to do that, but they're following the law. These guys are breaking the law.
And just to put it out there again, you are, though, being paid by the Gaming Association, which represents the interests of those who have already followed the state path.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, let's be honest with what's going on here. The AGA has a monopoly, and they feel like their monopoly is getting threatened, and they don't want any competition because they want to stifle innovation. And that's what's happening, really. You can And on the other side, the prediction markets, they want to go in and they want to battle. So it's everyone is being disingenuous. You have to look at who's getting paid. You shouldn't trust Chris Christie's word because he works for the gambling establishment. So you should read both sides and come to your own conclusion. Guys, we're back for our first guest in the new, kind of predictive programming to inside prediction markets theme. We have Liam. He was recently featured on the Wall Street Journal. We'll talk about that in a bit, but nice to have you here.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about your bio.
So I guess it all started for me when I got to college when I was 18, which was in 2018. I got onto like Bovada, my bookie, and you have no idea how any of that stuff works. I mean, even before that, I was always like a big sports nerd, always into like numbers and all that stuff, and always loved sports my whole life. And so I got onto the offshores, really small stakes, just thinking that you're smarter than the lines. And so then I actually ended up like, long story, like traveled to England and stuff at the time when I was 20. Well, yeah, I was 21 going on 22. And then I got back to the US and I was like, I need a job. And so I was applying to jobs. One of my buddies was going to give me a job at like Insight. And then I saw like Bet365 had a live trader role. I'm like, I know how to do this on a small scale, 2,000 a month, nothing crazy. I wish at the time I, was like, let's scale this up. I didn't have that in mind at the time. And so, I got the job at Bet365 as a live trader. And then I worked there till this fall, and then I quit. And
Did you ever have any conversations with Bet365 where you were like, hey, look at what I'm able to do on my own. I could be doing more here? Because I feel like you talk about climbing the ladder. Everybody I've talked to has worked in a sports book, and I've never worked inside a sports book. It kind of feels like there is no ladder. Like they want new grads, but there's no opportunities for advancement. And I think that has to change later. Now there's so much more opportunity. But did you try to pitch like, look, we could be so much more sophisticated. Look at these things I'm doing. Or was it just not a place that was open to hearing that?
No. Maybe that's like, the amount of money you can make doing it, keeping stuff to yourself, obviously, is going to be a lot better than if you go to Bet365 and say, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. Can I get promoted? It's like, what are we doing here? It's just not worth it.
So Bet365 is, routinely known as the sharpest trading room in the world with along the lines of Circa, Pinnacle.
Right.
No,
Are they actually well regarded on soccer and Euro stuff? Because they're kind of
soccer,
a bigger,
yes.
they're a bigger Euro brand, right?
Yes.
I think it's kind of funny that in the US they're seen as soft.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the question, we've noticed some guys that came from, Pinnacle or other sharp books, but like, did you actually learn anything you think of value there, considering, look, I don't want you to shit on your previous employer, but in my opinion, they're terrible. Like they're a very like awful book.
Well, to give them credit, they make a lot of money. It's just in different ways.
That could be true, but it doesn't mean they're a good market maker or a book.
Yeah. There's a reason why there's a rec business model and there's not a rec business model. They're going for two different clienteles and stuff like that. But I would definitely say I learned stuff there. You would be surprised, for sure, stuff that goes on even at a place like Bet365 in the trading department. I mean, people probably would look down on it. Someone like a Pinnacle might look down on it, but there's more like niche stuff in there that have to kind of like model and stuff like that. So I'll give credit where credit's due.
How long did it take you to actually show consistent profit in RFQ, and how long did it take you to realize, all right, this might be something that I can do long term?
Honestly, kind of right away, right when we started.
Must be nice.
Just because like it was very easy at the time.
When did you start?
In November.
Okay.
The very beginning.
Very beginning. Incredibly easy. A little bit harder now. And it will only obviously get more challenging. But again, that's like kind of, already said this, but the experience goes a long way. The data goes a long way. So
right now you're professionally betting on and trading sports.
Yeah.
That's your story. We'll keep circling the drain on prediction market conversation for a minute longer because I want to ask, are you working with a group? Are you doing kind of classic syndicate betting, PH accounts, legals? Like, are you have a foot in that world right now?
Yeah, so legals for the most part, and then obviously the prediction markets like have the footprint on that too. So basically all of it is like basically me, and then I have a dev who's named Jared. I'll give him a shout out.
Shout out Jared,
Shout out
dude.
Jared, he's the man.
Come work for me, I'll pay you more.
So yeah, he does. You know, we work together on stuff with the software on all that. But you know, we're trying to like move all the stuff to like fully automated. But yeah, most of it is just like me directly. But you know, anything automated, it's him. And then the legals is the legals. You need help there, but in a different way. And yeah,
One of the things that happens when you get into automating, sometimes you automate mistakes that you didn't anticipate.
yeah.
I think we've all been there. And there have been a lot of tweets this week because everybody's kind of hiring their dev or
Yeah,
vibe
yeah.
coding their strategy. And I've been seeing more and more like, well, I hope this was one of my buddies who got me for 20 grand because I was testing production today and I got bit. What's the most expensive mistake you've made so far on production?
Close to 50.
Ooh, that's
yeah,
big.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
50 on an
$50.
50, 50,
No,
no, 50.
no.
We know what you mean.
No.
50K in EV or an absolute like or like
Well, in EV it was less than that, but 50K there was a bunch of stuff that got filled that up to $50,000 that
You know.
no bueno.
So
how
what
bad?
happened?
they
What was
say,
what was
as they
their
say.
ROI? Out of curiosity.
We'll leave it at some legs were getting 8 to 1 on a coin flip.
oh,
Yeah. But hey,
So
listen,
how did it happen?
that is
How'd it happen? This is actually a great lesson for like everyone. Don't, you know, stay in your lane. Let's put it that way. Stay in your lane because I'll get like, oh, okay, I have all these ideas. I'll get ahead of stuff. I won't even have Jared check. And let's just say that can mess things up sometimes. And you know, you get a little overconfident, like, oh, this has worked. Just keep going here, and then something like that just slaps. And it's always, and I know this same thing with 365, because like this has been my whole adult life, you know. Now it's always gonna happen when you least expect it. Anything automated, it's always gonna happen when you least expect it. Like you're gonna go to the gym, you're gonna go like run errands, and you're like, God, I don't need anyone, you know, overseeing it. Nothing's happened in like 3 weeks, or nothing's happened in like a day, and that's when it happens. That's when the pallets start flooding in. So, you know. Yeah, it's definitely my
I think
worst.
the nothing happens in a day statement telling. I think it's kind of classic. Like this is operated for 24 hours.
Right.
It's basically bulletproof. I'm
Right,
never gonna
right.
think about it again.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you get dumped.
Yeah, I have a lot of those, and even just like on, you know, me and Falk talking about this earlier. It's like manually making like a live game. It's like it's a timeout. You just go on your phone. You're like, okay, I got like 3 minutes here. You know, I'll take all this stuff down on my phone, text my buddies or something, and then the game starts. You get filled. You're like, wow, that was stupid. But
So without getting into specific edges, bucket a little bit where you're spending your time and money, like making live games, or you know, like where are you putting your effort?
mostly the RFQs on these exchange
wow.
stuff. But
I've never heard anyone try to do RFQs before. This is like a unique thing.
yeah, and then a lot live too for the most part. But don't do a full live game. But yeah.
I think we can talk about RFQ in a second. I mean, that's what seems like every sharp is excited to get into. But live Kalshi, or you know, prediction markets in general, I should say, Kalshi being the biggest one right now, I think it's a very untapped opportunity. I don't think I think everyone's scared of courtsiders, but I think if you do it intelligently, there's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah.
What's your biggest fear with live, and what are you trying to do with automated live?
Well, the biggest fear obviously is the no timer. I mean, this is like, you know, there's no. If you're gonna try to make a full game, you're gonna have to be pretty deep in the order book if you want to, you know, avoid courtsides or, you know, maybe not touch second half stuff.
Is the current vibe that Kalshi's going to put it back in? I know they applied for an edit to their application, but I haven't heard anything.
And that
for
was
a while.
like in January, and then it faded away.
Yeah.
And I think it's in Kalshi's best interest to not, because you have so many makers
We're
already.
saying that.
Yeah, you have so many makers already. Like, it's so liquid already live. Like, if they had a poly market problem where poly market isn't very liquid live for the most part. I mean, well, it is, but like on the spreads and totals, not so much compared to.
Now, when you say liquid, are you talking about open interest depth, or are you talking about volume actually traded?
No, there's just like the depth of the order book in general. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
well, I'm going to push back on you a little bit there. On breaks, Sure. I mean, I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at like a game last night, like, you know,
Right.
what was it, the Kansas, was it Kansas Houston? Yeah,
Yeah,
Kansas Houston.
Yeah, yeah.
On breaks, there's like 100K contracts on both sides at 1 cent. I'm like, great.
Right.
Not on
play,
break, on
yeah.
Yeah,
in play. It's like, oh, 5 cents wide and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a couple hundred, maybe thousand
On
contracts.
Kalshi you're talking about.
Yeah,
Whereas
Kalshi.
Yeah.
Poly's got pretty good coverage. Poly's got a 5 second or 3 second
timer. Yeah, yeah.
second.
I mean, just for what I see on like the spreads and totals for the most part, just looking at, I mean, I'm not very into poly for the most part, but it just feels like Kalshi, just because of that no timer, like they already have so many people, you know, on top of that, where it's kind of like if it was like in play a problem where there's just nothing available for people to take, you know, then it'd be like, okay, let's add timer, make makers happy. And I do want to know like some of these like institutional makers, like kind of P&Ls on live, because if they were truly getting eaten alive, they would just say, we're done. They'd say to Kalshi, give us that 3 second timer. We need it. If no one's really complaining about it outside of like a few sharps, I mean, I guess it's going good. I don't know. So
RFQ mechanisms, for those who don't know, RFQ stands for request for quote. And it is a protocol used on prediction markets and in traditional finance markets where somebody puts together an instrument, in the case of what we're talking about, a parlay, right? Picking a few legs and saying, I want a price on this. That request is broadcast to everybody who's interested in quoting on it. Everybody comes up with a number. So we might say, oh, I'll do that for plus 400. Liam will do it for plus 420. All of these numbers go back, and whatever the best, longest prices offered, that's what shows up on the user's phone. And ideally for users, it's very seamless. You put 3 legs together, get a spinning wheel for a couple seconds, and there you go, plus 425. Click, accept. You don't even know who you're matching up against. And so it's a kind of anonymized, zero trust matching system for getting the best parlay price to users over and over again. For those who are kind of new to this, because we spend all our time, why do you think there's a gold rush, quote unquote, to RFQs? Why is everybody hiring a dev and trying to do this? What is the upside?
Yeah, there's a lot of easy rec flow when it comes to parlays.
What do you mean by
obviously.
easy rec flow?
Well, not very price sensitive. You can get a way bigger edge on people because it's compounding the legs. And recs do love parlays. And now on the flip side, sharps also love parlays. So you got to be a little bit smart with what you're doing. But the gold rush is the idea of like a 20% just turning people for long leg parlays. That's why people are hiring teams to get into this.
Get rich.
Yeah, get rich quick. Yeah,
You said you think everybody's going to need to specialize as time goes on.
100%.
You see yourself having a lane for specialization?
Yeah, because I mean, you collect so much data, like just endless amounts of data. I think that's honestly a huge edge right now. Is anyone that's gotten involved in RFQs, you can see what works, what doesn't. Whereas someone, when the markets are more efficient, is going to come in and be a new player, and honestly might be much more smarter than you, but they don't have that data to see what works, what doesn't on this platform. I think that's a huge edge.
They don't know how brutal 2-leggers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But honestly,
hey, they might do college basketball overnights. Like you don't know, right? Yeah. So like that's kind of a very important thing is data for sure.
RFQ is the parlay pricing protocol, currently live on Kalshi, forthcoming some other places. What has been your experience doing that so far?
Being on top of it would be the most part because
we know that very well.
You live and you learn. Yeah, it is. You're always gonna have another idea with it too, because it's especially now it's getting so competitive where the like low hanging fruit, in my opinion, is gone. Like 2025, Kalshi was a cakewalk, and like I have dreams of those days because already it's gotten like 10 times harder in certain aspects. But I think it's only going to get a lot worse, and I think the next thing that's going to get a lot worse is the RFQ making. I think is going to get so crowded that a little concerned at where that ends up, but maybe that's just paranoia. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, just being on top of it and trying to think what's going to get you fills. If you're just, again, same thing, one data point, probably works now. I don't know how long that will last. I think people are going to get like very niche on what they're doing. Like right now you can have blanket coverage, and this goes for singles. This goes for anything. You can just blanket coverage stuff. We're going to get so efficient where like you're going to have to pick what do you actually have an edge in making, like SGPs on the NBA or soccer stuff, like whatever it is, you're gonna find that niche. You're gonna stick with it. Not yet. It's gonna be here sooner rather than later.
Something data point I want to point out is how competitive it's been at this point. Is makers booking 2 legs combos on Kalshi are down 4% ROI, meaning
Getting trucked.
they're getting trucked. Granted, the longer legs they're doing much better.
Yeah.
But 2 legs, kind of scary, and like it kind of makes sense. Oh, that's where you get some adverse selection, and
Right.
and if you're already trying to be competitive with flow and cut tighter edges, it's like, okay, I would feel good if it's like a 2-leg NFL money line booking at like 3% edge.
Yep.
Well, if someone has an edge there, it can get kind of scary.
Well, I think you have a lot of people too, not to get into like, not to help people out or anything, but like very obvious stuff, like very obvious angle shooting stuff with like 2 legs. I think you have a lot of people that come from like the prediction market background or like the just like tech side of things that aren't really going to think about like angle shooting. I think that kind of helps me out just from like, I know like Bet365, it's not, bookmaker, but like you still see and know what like angle shooting is and stuff like that. And seeing it from a bookmaker's perspective, because you are a market maker, you're basically a book, obviously.
Yep.
So you kind of have to like, okay, here's these edge cases on parlays that are like painfully obvious that you do not want, like we're going to block this combo. I think you have a lot of people on the 2 legs that probably they just don't know that angle shooting's a thing. They probably think like every leg's 3%.
I think people, because RFQs are so new, I think people don't realize it's a kind of a pseudo dark pool, and people don't realize how adversarial that can be. Like if you DM me and you're like, I've got a buddy who wants 20 grand on UNC over 147.5 tonight. He'll take the pinnacle number. I'd be like, go to hell. Like, I don't know anything about it, but there's no way I want that. Right? Like this anonymous request for this specific thing. I don't care that the whole universe thinks that's a fair line. I got nothing to do with that.
Right.
And that's basically what the mechanism is, right? Like there's some transparency post facto of like seeing the transactions. But so I think, an order book provides a lot more transparency and market mechanisms that have disappeared. And I think people are just starting to realize the implications of that.
And not only is it just angle shooting, I think it's like, okay, if I want, like, say I am a college basketball originator and I know something is 4 points off market, I can just jam that in overnight on a 2-leg parlay. And that's on angle shooting per se. Like I just have an edge, and it's like, how do you know that it's not? You don't want to just turn it off, because then you don't get like Johnny Idiot that is like, recreationally, betting $20 or whatever.
I mean, there's things that are like painfully obvious you can do to not, like, I mean, if you're just like letting. But
the thing
you gotta
is,
be smart. You gotta be
all it takes is one player in the pool making a mistake, and all of a sudden the ripple effect is enormous. You see it on a daily basis.
Yeah,
it's fun to just watch the tape.
I think what's interesting about this is it's a great opportunity. There's like, I see everyone tweeting, "Oh, I'm hiring a dev for like the code on Kalshi and whatnot," and it's like, okay, as an RFQ guy yourself, you don't like more competition, but you also know how to attack. And if someone messes up, you can be there to fire right back into them.
Or even just knowing, if you have something like, oh, I'm backing off, when somebody hits something size. Well, backing off is a lot more effective in liquid markets, right? Like I back off 3 cents and all of a sudden I'm not feeling anything. Whereas if I'm the only guy, like I'm getting, it takes a while to realize how bad I've screwed up. Pretty cool little environment.
Yeah.
What do you think long-term across all legs, 2 legs to 20 legs or whatever, what is the long-term ROI of someone that's booking RFQs in like 5 years down the road?
I don't think you can like predict that, because like, how can
I can predict anything?
I guess ironically.
We're talking about prediction.
Why do you say that?
Well, the edges are going to compress, but then like, what does the environment look like? Like, are you going to, or basically like, you just block every single, like, okay, this tux fund, none of these creator IDs I'm gonna like touch, obviously. Like, what does the environment look like? And also like, what platform, like across like certain platforms like Kalshi, did they stay like super maker friendly? Is there going to be a huge taker fee? Are we
Well,
like,
hang on a second. This blocking creator ID nonsense is so ridiculous in my opinion because does no one remember that bearding happens on unlike
and this is
legals?
even easier.
And like,
yeah.
you don't think that you can get another like
Right.
account with a new creator ID?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So like, if your solution is just to block creator ID,
Yeah, you'll still get hit.
that'll work now.
Right, you'll still get hit later.
But you're gonna get hit eventually.
Yeah.
Most likely through aggregators, right? Like Jupiter, or places
Yeah.
where it's like you really can't tell.
Yeah.
This. Yeah.
My main question back to you would be, does the Kalshi, are you talking specifically about Kalshi and the environment it is now where it's like super maker friendly and in 5 years that stays? Because if that's the case, you're going to get like really efficient, like really sub. Like I know Maple was talking about like correlation down to like 8% again. That will happen.
Yeah.
That like 100% will happen.
Okay, let's touch on why do you think this is so maker? I agree with you, but why do you say, in your own words, why do you think this is so maker friendly?
Well, just because the taker fee's high. That's like my main, like if you go to like Poly Market, to me right now is like more like zero sum, like truly the best like bettors are winning, where you can have a mistake on Kalshi and kind of like survive. You got a little wiggle room. And that's like, to me, not truly zero sum, but this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But like, that's kind of my like viewpoint on that. It's all about the fees at the end of the day, if it makes your platform, maker friendly or not.
Do you feel like the moment has passed, or do you still think there's a lot of meat on the bone here?
I think there's still a lot of meat on the bone right now, especially, for like anyone with I mean, if you're starting out truly fresh, you need a really good technical background to get a catch up on like the infrastructure already built by a lot of people.
You can't just go Claude code me.
No
mistakes.
Right. Yeah, you do need somebody to know what they're doing on that front. Right. So that's kind of a big entry point, but trust, there's a lot of really smart people out there that can still get into this and make the like kind of low hanging fruit. It's just this is the one space where everyone hits a wall, whether that's with legals, with PPH, there's always going to be a wall, and you got to go, am I going to quit or am I going to go deeper into this? And I think we're already hitting that stage now for a lot of people. And then I think a year from now, you're like really going to see a lot of people say this is just not worth it. Like,
Liam, thanks for coming by.
Dude, yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
It's been great. Yeah.
Legendary. And best of luck in 2020.
Dude, yeah.
May the
Keep
money
grinding.
continue to flow like water.
Yeah, hopefully, right? Yeah.
That's a great saying. I like